It's Saturday, which means I slept in a lot. It's 11, almost 11:30, and well, I didn't get up. I got up at like 9, almost 9. Got up at almost 9, and then I just taking my time. It's Saturday. There's nothing going on. I mean, seriously. But it's Saturday, which means I just lazily. My bed's not made yet, but it's going to be soon. Not like I usually make it, but it will be done. So, good morning, people. Again, quick vlog today. It's Saturday. There's nothing going on. So, except my mom made pizza yesterday. Yay! I'm gonna have pizza for lunch. So, Saturday. Yay! I don't know what else to say except I can talk about more about Mackinac and how we are warming up. Oh my gosh, we are so warming up right now. I was checking ferry schedules last night because next week is the week I find out whether or not I officially have the job that I currently have unofficially, but I'm not officially hired, so I have to wait until I get officially hired. So I am waiting for that, and that will be next week. And I realized, oh my gosh, if she goes next week, I realized this last night, like midnight, I will have only February and March to get ready because she wants me up there as soon as she can have me in April. Last year I went up in May, and the only reason I went up that late is because my boss forgot to email me to tell me to come up. Because he forgot he even hired me. Okay? That's how that went. So, but she wants me to come up in April, right after Easter, which means at least I'll be home for Easter, which means my last day home will probably be Easter. Which is nice because I'll get to go do Easter Sunday at church. Last year was so much fun. Last year was Easter. Last year was so much fun. It was I think my second Easter there. And even though we don't have a ton of kids, they do an Easter egg hunt after service before Easter breakfast. Well, it's more like Easter brunch, but it's Easter breakfast. The service gets pushed up to like 8:30, so it's a breakfast. So, see, I told you I wasn't going to make my bed very well. So, they do an Easter egg hunt, and last year it was myself and my friend Donald, who goes there, that I only see him there. He's a church friend. He, and I were put in charge of the Easter egg hunt. And I'm like, okay. So my mom and I go get the eggs and the candy, and I think we ended up feeling like over 100 eggs. And then Donald and I went up for communion, and right after communion, he and I scurried out to the back of the church. And I want to say like 3 or 4 Meyer plastic shopping bags full of candy-filled Easter eggs. Some which had 2 pieces, some which had 3. And he and I had to scatter them all over the backyard of the church. And we had so many, we were getting inventive. We were putting them up on the stonework on the sides of the church because the church, outside the church is stone, and they have some of the bricks that jut out. Perfect size for placing an Easter egg. We were placing them on windowsills. We were placing them anywhere we could. My mom says if we do it this year, we're cleaning up because there were pine needles everywhere, and it had been raining. And I was wearing sandals. That's not the smartest thing to wear when you're doing this. And I was wearing an ankle-length dress that Ami was dragging to the ground. And that's what I'm wearing again this year for Easter. So it was insane, but it was so much fun. We ended up having 4 kids. The organist is 2, and my 2 cousins, Kaden and Lakin, and they had so much fun. I mean, they found so many eggs. Like, literally, the 4 kids, they probably each got about almost 50 or so eggs, because I think we hit over between 100 and 200. So they got a ton of eggs and candy. And Mrs. Tamahosky, the organist, was like, "Do you want these back?" I'm like, no, I don't want them back. You can keep them. But I think I'm doing it again this year. And this year, we are going to hide more eggs, apparently. Because that's what one of the little kids told us. He's like, next year, more eggs. We're like, okie dokie. So I guess I'm doing it again this year. I don't know. But that'll be fun. One last hurrah before I go up north will be to do my Easter egg hunt. Because I won't be home if it's official. I won't be home for VBS, which last year was fun because I made a friend. And I called her my little monkey. Because every time she saw me the first night, I don't know what it is. I make this joke that I'm a kid magnet. I don't know if it's because of how I look or how I sound or just how I present myself. But kids, they see me, they're like, her. So this little girl was there with one of the other women of the church who was like her relative, and she was absolutely terrified. And I got down on her level. I'm like, hey, you can hang out with me. You want to be my special friend, my special helper? You can hang out with me. And the next thing I know, whomp, I have a kid wrapped around me. I'm like, hi, this brings back memories of when I was my mom's Sunday school helper, or when I was doing VBS in my old church, or just when I was spending time with either side of my family. Whomp, I can't move. I have a kid on each leg. So that was fun, and so it was nice, but I'm not going to be doing that this year. I'm not going to be going to Star Wars night. I'm so kind of bummed about that. I'm excited to be going to Mackinac Island, but that is the thing I will probably miss the most is I'm not going to Star Wars night at the Great Lakes Loons, which makes me sad. I wanted another picture with Vader because my one from last year was totally lame, so that makes me sad. I'm not going to get to go see the Stormtroopers or anything like that. I'm so bummed. Who knows, maybe I'll see some at Mackinac Crossings. Probably not, but it's like, that's probably my one regret is I'm not going to be here for Star Wars night. Dang it. So, my other regret is I can't take my R2-D2 purse with me. I might see if I can get away with taking my BB-8 wallet. I can't take my R2-D2 purse with me. I'm not taking my jacket with me. I'm not taking my lightsaber skirt with me. So I'm pretty much down to just the shirts. And I'm not taking my guitar up with me right away because Mom says I need to fill out my roommates. Not that way. I know, it's so weird. So, it's just been going nuts. In fact, I keep talking about the warm, because it is getting warm. We're expecting another cool down the next couple of weeks, which is typical. February is kind of the coldest month of the year. But it has gotten so warm, there's no snow anymore outside. Okay, remember a couple days ago when we had snow? We don't have snow anymore. It is so warm that they are predicting that since there's not going to be an ice bridge this year between Mackinac Island and the mainland, because usually if they're going to have an ice bridge, they would know by now because it would be cold and most of the lake would be covered with ice because the lake ice bridges last at least until March. But they're not going to have one this year because it's too warm. Even though it's supposed to get cold again, it's not going to be cold long enough for the ice bridge to form properly. So they're not going to have an ice bridge this year. And they're not running ferries right now. So, because there's too much ice built up in the harbor. So, Starline doesn't have a way to get the ferries to and from there because there's too much ice built up in the harbor. But the lake is clear. It's just when you get up to the land that there is way too much ice. So, in fact, it has been so warm that they closed Mackinac Bridge, that massive bridge that connects the LP with the UP. For those of you who have not been watching my channel lately or have never seen my videos and don't know what I am saying, LP and UP is Michigan shorthand for Lower Peninsula, which is where I live, and Upper Peninsula, which is like this, and is up there. It's up there. It's like 300 miles that way. And that's the bridge that connects us. And it's 5 miles long, and it is so much fun to go across. And when you get on the grate, it sounds like a race car. If you want, go watch some earlier videos on my channel of, I think I have videos of us crossing the bridge. It is awesome. My mom doesn't like it so much, though, because the first time I did it, first time I remember doing it, I was 11, and I was like, oh, look, you can see the water through the bridge. And my mom's sitting there going, Katie, shut up. And I'm like, what? But you can. I did the same exact thing. There's a bridge in Frankenmuth called the Old Wooden Bridge that you can walk on, and it's really, like, old, and my mom hates it. She absolutely hates this bridge because it's old. I love it, and it's wood, and so we would walk. So sometimes we'd have to park out beyond the bridge and have to cross the bridge to get to downtown Frankenmuth. I'm the stupid idiot walking across the bridge, knowing my mom does not like this bridge, going, hey, look, you can see the water between the cracks. Look at the river. And my mom's going, shut up, Caitlin. See, I'm an idiot. That's what I do to my mom. That's what I do to my mom. I'm like, hey, Mom, look, shut up. It's like, I know I know that. It's like, that's fun to me. It's not fun to my mom, but it's fun to me. That's what I do for fun. So, but Mackinac Bridge, that big bridge, they close it a couple times a year. Normally, they close, if it gets really windy enough, they close the bridge for wind. But unless it's like dangerously windy, they don't close the bridge. Like, literally, I had a cousin drive across the bridge in a snowstorm. That bridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, closes for very few things. They close it for the Labor Day walk, but that's pretty much it. But other than that, they don't really close the bridge. In fact, they are working on the bridge 24/7. It's always under construction because they started one end, good at it, switch. So that bridge is always under construction. Maintenance, painting, whatever it is always under construction. Of course, I think it's funny because when you drive along, you'll see like little inner tubes, like little life-saving rings along the edge of the bridge, and they go, oh, that's what those are for, just in case a worker falls off. Here you go. Ting. So it is insane, and it is so much fun to cross. But one reason they will close the bridge is because of falling ice from the towers. Because it's a suspension bridge, there are 2 towers, and ice will build up, ice will collect on the bridge, and it will like fall from the bridge. They will close the bridge for that. Normally, when that happens, they don't close the bridge until March or April when it really starts warming up and it starts getting ready. They closed the bridge yesterday for falling ice. That's how warm it is in Michigan right now. It's warm enough that the ice was already falling off the bridge on January 26th. So they closed the bridge. In fact, it was closed all night. I signed up for text. I got a text on my phone when I turned it on saying the bridge is reopened this morning, but they closed the bridge last night and had to open a nearby church in Mackinac City for people to stay at because they couldn't get across the bridge. And like people use that bridge all the time. There are such a lot of commuter traffic on that bridge. So the bridge was closed. The bridge is reopened. That's good. What's not good is while I was looking at that, I was also looking at commuter passes because I have, last year when we went to the island, I got commuter passes because I thought I'd always be going back and forth between the mainland and the island. What's good is that these are good for either going to St. Agnes or Mackinac City. It doesn't matter which. And I didn't use them all, and I have like 10 left. And I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to go see if I can use my remaining 10 that I purchased last season. But from the sounds of it, when I went to the website, I'm going to have to purchase a new book of passes. Which they're $110 for 20, which really isn't that bad because 40 is $200. I'm not going to purchase 40. I'm only going to purchase 20 because the first day I'm up there, I might go use 3 of them because I'll get them before I go on the boat to the island, and I'll use one to go across, use one to come back, and then use one to go across again, and then I probably won't use them that often. But they're nice to have, especially since I do plan on going over in May to go see Solo when that comes out. And I'm also planning to go over, they have a little kind of country-style Build-A-Bear factory, and I've always wanted to do one of those. So I want to go do a bear, and I want to see what they have for, not technically a bear, they have like a ton of animals. I'm hoping if I go over there, they have a moose for Michigan. So I plan on going over at least a couple times to do that. If I become really great friends with my roommates, we might go out for a day to Mackinac City and go to like the beach by the bridge, or if they have a car, or if they or go to the mall. What I was really happy to see is when I was trying to put together how the heck I'm going to go see Solo, I was able to map out how far it is from the Starline Ferry Docks, because that's what I use, to the mall. It's only a 7-minute walk to the mall from the Starline Ferry Docks and a 4-minute bike ride, which is awesome. So it's like, I get off the docks, I go across, I turn, I walk. Oh, there's the mall. So I knew the mall was really super close to Starline, which is really nice, because Sheplers is like a hike away. And I don't use Sheplers. Sheplers is bad. I like Starline. Sheplers has, if you bring a car up for summer employment, Sheplers has apparently a really good parking thing where you can leave your car in long-term parking. Starline has one of those, but apparently Starline is more expensive, but I don't have a car, so it doesn't matter. And luckily, I think there's a small grocery store on the other side of the mall, too, that's really close. So, yay! Stuff within walking distance of the docks. I just have to be careful, because I had to get the boat back. But it'll be nice, it'll be fun, and I think when Annika, the lady, called me and did my job interview, she was describing the house. She said, it's on this thing called Lilac Lane. I'm like, cool. My mom and I looked at the map trying to figure out where Lilac Lane is, because she said it was by the hotel. The hotel, Lakeview Hotel is, okay, 3 is French Lane. Lakeview Hotel is right there. It's this like little speck. And the lane next to it is actually French Lane, not Lilac. So I'm like, that's not right. So my mom and I could not find a Lilac Lane on this map. Well, I've been watching videos of Mackinac Island, and one video I watched this morning was of the carriage tours. And what's really interesting is at one of the parts I watched is they had turned up Cadet Avenue, which is this street right here where my finger's going. This is that street, Cadet Avenue, goes all the way up here to Annex Road. Oh, it changes into Hoban Road at some point. But this street right here is Cadet, and the Grand Hotel is located just off that. Surrey Hill is right there. And I could not figure out where the heck, and then I'm watching this video, and the guide, because I didn't get to go on my free one last year, the guide is describing Cadet Avenue and says it's Cadet Avenue, better known to the locals as Lilac Lane. That is why Mom and I could not find Lilac Lane, because there is no Lilac Lane. It's a nickname used by the islanders, the locals, the people who live there, to refer to the fact that Cadet Avenue is full of lilacs. And that's one of the things Mackinac Island is known for. Fudge, horses, lilacs. Because the original settlers, like they mentioned this in one of my favorite book trilogies. If you want to know more about life on Mackinac Island during the 1800s, the War of 1812, check out the Once on this Island, the Island Trilogy by Michigan author Gloria Whelan. It's one of my all-time favorite book series. It's about a girl named Mary O'Shea who's half French, half Irish. She lives on Mackinac Island, and I think my dad and I figured it out. I think she lives somewhere. In the middle part of the island, based on the descriptions, because she could easily go to the fort, and she lived near British Landing. So I'm thinking she lives somewhere out there. But she lives on the island with her dad and her brother and her sister. And the first book is called Once on This Island, and it's about the War of 1812, which is Mackinac Island was actually captured by the British. There was a massive battle there. It was captured by the British during the war. There were a couple battles there. So, and then it mentions in that book, I think it mentions in like the third book, that in the first book it mentions how every single person who lives on the island, who has a house on the island, they have a lilac bush, like a lilac tree or bush. I don't know what they're called, but they plant lilacs in their yard. Everybody on the island does it. So because of this, and because of the true fact, there are lilacs everywhere on Mackinac Island. They actually have this massive festival called the Lilac Festival that is dedicated to the lilacs and Mackinac Island's history. It is so much fun. I didn't get to do it last year, but I'm going to do it this year. So there are lilacs everywhere. Cadet Avenue apparently is best known for all the lilac trees. So they call it Lilac Lane. So I'm guessing that's where I'm going to be living, is somewhere on that road, which will be fun. So yeah, go check out the Island Trilogy. Once on the Island is the first one. That's about the War of 1812. Farewell to the Island is the second one. And in that one, Mary actually travels to England to visit her sister. And it's the first time she's ever left Mackinac Island and gone overseas. And the third one is called Return to the Island. And she's struggling. She's a woman now. And she's struggling with two suitors who offer completely different things. Their lives are in total different directions. And it's all about her growing up and coming of age and what she does to help make the island a better place. So I love the Island Trilogy. It is the best. If you want to know more about Michigan history, or if I piqued your interest about Mackinac Island, check out the Gloria Whelan Island Trilogy. It is lovely. And she's a really awesome writer. I met her. I got to meet Gloria Whelan when I was in 4th grade. I went to this thing called Young Authors Day at the local university at Delta, and I got to meet Gloria Whelan. She actually autographed one of her books for me. I also met the man who wrote The Watsons Go to Birmingham, of which I proudly had 2 autographed copies, completely by accident, because the day before, they had an event the night before for families. So my mom, my dad, my brother, and I went to that event, and we got to meet him. And The Watsons Go to Birmingham was actually one of my favorite books as a kid. I don't know why, but I really liked it. And I don't know where it is now. I had a copy. I think it's in my closet. But I loved The Watsons Go to Birmingham. I will have to find it because that is autographed. And so the night before, I got to go meet all these authors. I got to have them sign my books. I had met the guy who wrote the Laura Ingalls Wilder biography, William Anderson. He signed my book. So I got to meet all these authors. And the next day I went back on a field trip as part of a group of 4th and 5th graders to go attend some speech lectures and stuff by some of these authors all about literacy and writing. And we went to one which was being held by the guy who wrote The Watsons Go to Birmingham. And he asked questions, and whichever kid answered the question and got it right got an autographed copy of this book. And the one question, and I don't know how I knew this in 4th grade. I don't know how a 4th grader could know this. The question he asked was, what is segregation? And I was the first one to raise my hand, and I said segregation is the separation of people based on characteristics such as race, religion, or ethnicity, which was right. And I got a book. So after the speech, I went up and he signed the book. He wrote, good job. And he said, okay, what's your name? Caitlin, K-I-T-L-I-N. And he said, no, I said Katie. And he wrote, good job, Katie, and signed it. And so that's how I ended up with 2 autographed copies of The Watsons Go to Birmingham, paperback, not hardcover. And what is even more funny is I got the book, I left, and then 2 of the teachers came up and they were going to offer me money for me to go have him sign the book for my 4th grade teacher who was retiring that year. I'm like, oh, he already signed it. So I'm sorry to those teachers. Sorry to my 4th grade teacher. So it was fun. I've done a lot of cool stuff. I mean, I've met a ton of authors. I've seen terracotta warriors. I've seen the Dead Sea Scrolls. I've seen mummies. I've seen medieval armor. I've stayed in Fort Knox. I've seen the Gold Vault. I have gone to Santa Claus, Indiana. I have gone to SeaWorld. I have gone to the UP. I have gone to Canada, which is kind of just a thing to do in Michigan. It's like, we're Canadian anyway. So, So when I look back at it, I have done really cool things. So going on this summer will be another list to add to the cool things I've done, which is I've gone to work on Mackinac Island for the summer, which is, I think is really something really cool to tell people is that you've gotten to do this. So this is way longer than expected. I'm going to get going. I will post this tomorrow, I promise. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to go try to find that Watsons Go to Birmingham I have. I got to find it. I think it's in might be in one of these. So I'm going to go look for that. You guys stay safe, stay sane, have an amazing weekend. I will talk to you guys later. And I'm sending you all lots of love, hugs, and prayers. And don't forget to go read. And welcome to Tiny Human, my newest subscriber. I keep forgetting to mention him. So thank you and have a nice weekend and bye-bye.